So we are being recorded starting now. So Kate will be interviewing Nicole Klein today. Nicole Klein is an agent with the Mainline Market Center, and she is one of the top agents in Keller Williams International. So we're really excited to have her time today. And Kate, you can go ahead and get us started.
Thank you, Nicole Oatman. So Nicole Klein and I met at a Mastermind, I believe, last year. And conveniently, I think we might have met in Florida, maybe?
I'm not sure. I feel like I've known you forever, but it hasn't been that long.
I know. Anyway, ironically, she is in our region. She is in PA, like Nicole Oatman mentioned. And she is part of the luxury division, Keller Williams luxury division. We have some questions and interest in our office, specifically Keller Williams Princeton, on the luxury division. And so our office is a part of the Keller Williams luxury division. I believe there's only very few agents that are a part of it.
Am I frozen or is she frozen?
No, I think Kate froze. She lives way out in the hills, so I'm not surprised.
Probably me.
Hey, you're good now, Kate.
Okay, cool.
Up.
Hold on, let me close everything else out.
Old squirrel.
Can you see me and hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry. All right. So Nicole, can you tell us what the luxury division offers and what its advantages are?
Sure. So I just give you a little bit of background because I'm sure there's people on the Zoom that have started at all different points. In real estate, some people might be newer, some people might be older in the business. So I've been in business for 13 years and just joined Keller Williams Luxury last year. So the first 12 years of my career, I mainly focused on the traditional client. So that would be any client that wouldn't be considered luxury. And kind of just had the mindset that that was my client and that was who my friends were, that's who my neighbors were, those were the people in my circle. So those are the people that I should focus on. So I went to the luxury retreat last year in Boca where Kate thinks that we might have met. It was spring masterminds and the luxury retreat. And, it was really eye-opening for me. I really probably went because some of my friends were going and it was an event in Boca Raton at a really nice resort. So why not? And I did join luxury after that, but was not a member of luxury when I attended it. And I was really fortunate to, learn a lot of the advantages, which I'll share with you, and really to meet agents that were doing a high level of business in both traditional and luxury. I found it to be a really powerful event because everybody was just doing things at a really high standard. And I think that's really what KW Luxury is all about. It's really, it's obviously for your luxury clients and your luxury business, but the agents that you meet being a part of KW Luxury are agents that are doing large businesses, both traditional, and luxury, and doing it at a really high service level. So at that event, I learned more about service, which I pride myself in, that customer service is my number one thing. So I was kind of surprised about all the ahas that I learned about service, but also obviously learned a lot about the advantages of KW Luxury. So I can share some things of the advantages of being a part of the network with you guys.
So I actually hear you saying you didn't necessarily join it for the luxury listings or the luxury client. You used it as a tool to step yourself into a higher agent realm to mastermind with and learn from.
Yes, that's exactly, sorry about that. That was it. It was just surrounding yourselves with some of the top agents in our company. And really intimately too, because, we go to like mega camp or family reunion And it can be overwhelming. I mean, I'm an extrovert and I still find it really overwhelming. This was a much smaller group. I think it was a group of maybe 500 tops. I feel like it was less than that. And they were all, you could learn every minute, whether it was just walking down the hall or sitting at a breakfast. The one day at breakfast, I sat next to Andrew Bloom, which I don't know if some of you know him. I had no idea who he was. He's in Gary's top 100. I mean, this guy had breakfast with him and learned more from him at this little breakfast conversation than probably I've, learned in weeks around other agents. So it's just a really easy way to get your face in front of other people and learn from them.
That's amazing. Okay, so what does Keller Williams Luxury Division offer you?
So obviously those things that we talked about, but it's a really great advantage. What's that?
The amazing networking.
Yes, amazing networking and normally some pretty exciting places to go. But on top of that, the reason that I ended up joining is because I really wanted to take my luxury business to the next level and felt that I, besides the networking, really needed the tools to be able to offer to my clients. So being part of KW Luxury is being a part of the boutique business within KW. So when you're talking to your clients, about it, it's not, oh, yeah, I'm part of KW Luxury. I mean, that doesn't really mean anything to them, except for, they might like that you have the word luxury in there. But talking to them about how, Keller Williams is one of the largest real estate company in the world, and you're fortunate to be part of the boutique business of KW Luxury. So, it's a boutique within KW. It's 27 agents are in the luxury division of Keller Williams. And the advantages were, what I shared with you is what I would share with a client. These people in this group are doing business at a really high level. So you're able to network, with them, but also be able to share your listings with this group. So there are KW luxury Facebook pages that you're only allowed to join if you're part of the luxury network. And one thing about the luxury client is they normally don't make lateral moves, right? A luxury client is going to move up. They're going to be buying, whether it's a second home somewhere. They're going to, be looking for a larger home. They like the wow normally. So being part of this network, you're able to share those listings with somebody, maybe for you guys, having a New York City agent that now with everything going on with COVID-19, they might be looking to get out of the city and they want to find, properties that are really close to New York, but, have some more suburban feel. So being part of that network, you can easily connect your listing that you might have in Princeton or the surrounding area with, the luxury agents there. It also gives you access to the international MLS, so agents like that, sellers like that, when you can tell them that you're putting their listing, it's called Plaxio, on the international MLS, and it actually gets translated into different languages depending on where it's being viewed. So again, could be really great, for our area that we do have people that are moving internationally. Being able to market your listing to the international client, I think is pretty amazing. All of the KW listings go on the Wall Street Journal online. So you can, tell your client, and this is all free, you're not paying anything extra after you join luxury. So it's going on the Wall Street Journal online, Mansion Global, and bears.com. So all of these things, they will automatically go when you input your listing in, it goes out to all these services being part of KW Luxury, which, the luxury client wants to know about the exposure that they're getting on their listing. And then I don't know if any of you guys, you should get it in your office, but the luxury magazine, the KW Luxury magazine, is a great tool that print is kind of dead, we say, with certain listings, but the luxury client, they still want to see their property in print. They still want that exposure. A lot of times, maybe the age is a little older and, they're more traditional, but it's a great tool to market your listings. I think it's $500. To put an ad in there, and you get 100 copies. So it's really great to be able to give it out to your clients and, your sphere. And last year they started, another reason why I joined, is they started allowing you just to do, at the time I didn't have any luxury listings, but you can do an ad in that luxury magazine on just a bio about you. So if you're starting, you want to start getting your name out there to luxury clients, being part of luxury, you can do that.
Very cool. Is it a monthly fee for you for luxury or a yearly subscription?
You can do it either yearly or monthly. I believe it comes out to $108 a month if you do it monthly.
So I think even if you don't have any luxury listings, joining that even for the networking advantage is definitely paying off for you.
Yes, definitely. And in KW Connect, I don't know how techy you guys are. You know, some offices are still not using all these tools, but in KW Connect, there's a separate part where I can access now. That's my luxury tab, and it has luxury marketing material, luxury calls, luxury masterminds, luxury classes. So there's also a lot more tools that you can, you know, be able to access if you're a member.
Very cool. We are up to date on technology. Thankfully, our office is keeping up. So I wanted to ask you a few questions about listing side and then buyer side. And again, if people wanted to add questions in the chat box, we can hop over there as well. So how do you define a luxury listing?
That's a great question. So there's a couple ways. You can always refer back to your office because they can, you know, they will be able to tell you the specifics, but it's normally the top 10% of your MLS. So in our area, which is the main line, it's Villanova, University, you know, a lot of old historic homes. In our area, it's anything over $1 million and above. But in every market, it's different. An easy way to, Leslie Akers just taught me this. Leslie's the president of luxury. So the way that she said to do it is if you take your average sales price and if you double your average sales price, so not yours personally, but your market's average sales price, and you double it, she says that property then is considered high end. So you can say that's, you know, a higher end listing, a higher end property. But when you triple that average sales price, that's when it's considered a luxury listing.
Okay. So is there any other, I think in our, Wendy or Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 500,000, anything over in our market is considered luxury? I'll let them respond in the chat box maybe, or if they unmute themselves. Is there any other way that you define a property other than price as a luxury listing?
No, I mean, it would just be price.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how Keller Williams luxury division also gives you the tools for that, only if it's over a certain price.
Yeah. So it's an exclusive, like we talked about, you know, it's a boutique part of KW. So it's exclusive. So we're not allowed to use the luxury marketing, the luxury logo, the luxury signs on any property that doesn't qualify as luxury to protect the brand.
Okay. So that's really good to know, clarity for. So what do the marketing pieces look like that are different specifically for a luxury listing?
Yeah, so some of those things that we, you know, talked about, you know, it's definitely making sure that you're getting the exposure for your clients that is not just in your area. And, you know, the marketing is a lot cleaner, you know, kind of think like Apple we were talking about before, but, you know, just very clean lines. You can kind of, I don't know if, you know, Compass has kind of made a little noise in your area, but, you know, they're doing a really good job, I think, of branding, you know, more of a luxury feel. It's, you know, not, it's more simple. It's not very busy. Like I said, the luxury client, you're really marketing the home as a lifestyle. So, you know, a lot of people, when they're looking at these luxury listings online, they might be moving from a different area. So when you're marketing, it's not just about what the house looks like, how many bedrooms, how many baths, what are the finishes, right? You know, the luxury buyer, they're looking more to find out what's, you know, what's going on in the area. How close is it to New York City? You know, is it walkable to a town? What, you know, other, maybe what golf courses that are famous around. So you're really trying to, when you write a luxury listing, when you're marketing, you really need to speak to those who don't know the area, because it's a little different than marketing just your traditional or maybe even high-end listing. But, you know, it's a lot of internet exposure. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the word we talk a lot about in KW, but it's about your feeder market and knowing like where people are coming from. So that's also really important when you're working with a luxury client. So I know you really talked about marketing, but what you're marketing is telling them who you're marketing to. So you've got to identify, and I just keep using Princeton. I know you guys aren't all in Princeton, but who's moving to Princeton, New Jersey? Where are they moving from? Are they moving from Summit, New Jersey? Are they moving from New York? Where are they coming from? And sharing with your seller that, your target marketing to the migration market that's moving to Princeton, New Jersey.
So I'm on a lot of masterminds with a lot of different people, and I've never heard that. So it's the feeder market, you said?
Yeah. So when I went to the KW luxury retreat, they talked about feeder market nonstop, and I had never heard of it either. They're like,
"Ooh, tell us more."
They're like, "What's your feeder market? What's your feeder market?" I think I leaned to my friend. I'm like, "What are they talking about?" So, for instance, like I said, I'm on the main line, which is outside of Philadelphia. Our feeder market isn't Chicago. It isn't California. Like Texas feeder market, a lot of people from Chicago are moving to Texas. They said that they're getting a lot of their business from there. But on the main line, I'm getting my business from agents in Bucks County, maybe agents in the Lehigh Valley, agents from New Jersey, Cherry Hill. So those are my feeder markets. If people are moving from an area that's not already the main line, where are they coming in from? Those are the agents that you want to, whether it's luxury or traditional, those are the agents that you want to network with. Where are they coming from? Get to know that, an agent in the area of where they're coming from. And, then you guys can refer business back and forth to each other. But with marketing, knowing where their feeder market is, it goes back to the same thing. So like I would assume, because I grew up near New Hope, that you get a lot of people from New York or maybe even North Jersey that are looking for like a more suburban house.
Yeah. I mean, I would say we get, specifically in Hunterdon County, I work a lot in, we get a lot of people from New York and Philadelphia that look for second homes in my area because it's farm, very.
Right. So those are your feeder markets, right? So
can I throw something in there real quick, guys?
Yeah.
So in Command, there's this cool thing called the referrals section that, we all just check our referrals on, but there's this function in there called Map that allows you to select referral patterns to and from a given area. So that could be very helpful in terms of, just everybody ascertaining what those patterns look like. It's not going to drill down to the luxury market specifically, but it's good information to have across the board.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I actually did look into that, and it is interesting. It shows you like lines of, really like a map of, you would see people feeding. And so that's definitely a great tool. I haven't, really dug into it much, but yeah, so what you said, Kate, you want to make sure you have strong relationships, but when you're talking to your seller, right, your seller we didn't even know what feeder market was a few minutes ago, right? So you've got to watch the language that you're using with your seller, and you talk to them about, I have strong relationships with agents that, have where clients are moving from into our area. So we study the migration of buyers, and that's telling me that a lot of them are coming from New York City, Philadelphia. So what I'm going to do as your listing agent is I'm going to market within our KW luxury network to those agents and, find out, and then they're going to be sharing your listing. So you can also talk about how, their listings getting shared, and marketed by other agents, also, and how tight knit the community is that way.
So does Keller Williams luxury division give you a special tool that's helping you figure out where your feeder market or who your feeder market is? Or do you find this information out on your own by studying the MLS?
Yeah, the second part. So, and what Chris talked about, Command has that tool, so you could definitely go in there. And again, this is information for traditional or luxury. It's not, this can help you in any part of your business. So it's just really understanding the client. One thing that Leslie shared with us on a call last week of how she got into luxury was to really, find a neighborhood, whatever neighborhood it is that you want to break into, identify what that neighborhood is, study the neighborhood of, what's on the market, what's happening in that area, who's the agent that's really owning the marketing in that area. And then, in Bright, in the MLS, right? You guys use Bright too, or no?
Yep.
Okay. So in Bright, you can actually pull up the neighborhood data I forget what the icon looks like, but you pull up the property and you click on it. It will tell you the average age of the people, the average income. It will tell you, if people own, if they rent, so there's a lot of info you can just get from there. So if you take one neighborhood and really start to learn it and, understand it. And then once you master that one neighborhood, look at the 2 or 3 around it. And then you're starting to become the expert of that area. So you could probably learn a little bit about where they're coming from that way, and also join a community page or, do different things. You have to become a student, I think, to figure out that information.
Very cool. That is very helpful for any agent doing any type of listing at any price range, I think. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
What do you do differently as far as open houses or any other strategies that may look different for a luxury other than what we talked about online, et cetera? Are you doing traditional open houses?
Yes. So I think the interesting thing about luxury open houses is a lot of times these buyers that are coming in are unrepresented, where I find in the, the lower price points, they've already have an agent, they're just kind of there to look and to get to, maybe save their agent a trip or whatever. But the luxury buyers, since they're a little more savvy, they're not reaching out to somebody first and saying, hi, can I go see this house? They're just deciding to do things on their own. And a lot of the luxury agents that in my office, they've said that they've actually, gotten both sides of the deal by hosting open houses, because a lot of these buyers just come in, maybe weren't planning on buying and they're just out in their neighborhood or whatever it is. But open houses are the same. You don't really have to get extra, fancy. I think the difference with the luxury listing is almost the brokers more than the public, as far as open houses. The brokers, you want to get as many in and they're expecting a little more, they might want some champagne or some cheese or an evening. Brokers open, it seems like a lot of our luxury brokers opens are more exclusive too, only inviting people that are actually doing luxury business. So just like we're saying that this KW Luxury is a small boutique, it's almost like you want to create that same feeling with the co-ops in your area. And if you're not a luxury agent right now, they don't know that, right? I mean, some people are looking in Bright and checking people's stats, but for the most part, they're not. So, you can create a relationship with other luxury agents in your area just by inviting them to something, connecting with them, forming a luxury group. Maybe you do a luxury mastermind with agents within your company or other companies, but, it's really just having exclusive relationships, I think, with the Brokers Opens.
So you are definitely still hosting and seeing broker opens for luxury.
Not in the COVID time, no. I mean,
right. Well, good point.
Okay.
COVID's still a thing, right? I live in a bubble.
Just want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, COVID's still happening. Besides COVID, though, you're still seeing that because a lot, in the area that I work specifically, we really don't do broker open anymore. It's really hard to get people there if you do it. So you're saying that you're still seeing that being a popular way to bring in. Okay.
Yeah, the luxury brokers opens are attended more than probably the traditional, because again, you've got that little extra, specialness, whether it's an invitation and not a print invitation, but, maybe you're sending out a paperless post, but you're making someone feel special and then they're wanting to come.
Right. The exclusivity for sure is always attracting to people. Before we move on to the buyer side, I want to call Richie. He messaged me in the chat that he, has an article to share with us. So Richie, did you want to give us a recap of what that is?
Yeah, sorry, I was finishing my lunch, so that's why I didn't have my video on. But yeah, talking about the feeder stuff was really cool. So I'm not really in the luxury market today, but it's a segment that I'm looking to get into. So I follow stuff every now and then, and I have a friend from college. He's in Idaho, and he transitioned into the luxury market. And when you started talking about the feeder stuff, it just triggered that, memory of, oh my gosh, they were in Inman News for something very interesting they were doing around the feeder market. What they did is they had their website had analytics on where they were getting traffic from. And the traffic was coming from an area in a state they were not expecting. So then they retargeted their marketing to that area. And I just thought that was really fascinating. And it just kind of adds on to what you guys were talking about. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to that in the comments. And if anyone wants to get connected with Mogie, M-O-G-I-E, that's his name, just drop me a message and I'll make sure you guys get connected.
Yeah, that's super cool. Thank you. And Richie, I know you from Masterminding actually during COVID time. You have the same coach as I do, Joe Cipollini. And Richie, where are you from?
Oh, Indianapolis, Central Indiana.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that link.
Yeah.
So let's move on to buyers now, Nicole. How and what do you do to attract the luxury buyer?
So if you remember, I said when I went to this, luxury retreat, most of my business was traditional. So, under the $1 million. And I think one thing that anyone on this call, again, that's either doing luxury or wants to get into luxury to realize is the luxury buyer. Yes, they have different expectations and the service level needs to be a little different, but they're not that different than you, right? They might be able to afford a larger house than you. Maybe they have a bigger boat on the Delaware. They might drive a fancier car, but we're all people. And I think that was really my big aha after going to the luxury event is like, I'm giving good service. I do have experience. I have the knowledge. There's no reason that, it's not any different on the buy side it's really not that different. Working with a $500,000 buyer and working with a $1.6 million buyer. It's just the price, right? You're giving them good service. You're learning about the neighborhood. You're being attentive. All of those things are still there. So if you have in your head that you only service a certain price point, I hope that this helps you at least move past that and realize that, you've developed a technique and service expectations, for yourself or for your team. And, as long as you do that at a really high level, there's no reason you can't increase your price point. So, that was kind of a not a full answer to your question, but
so I know that you're like a pro networker. So is that how you're attracting some of your buyers, through your networking?
Yes. So, right now, especially since everyone's home and online, we get to share our story and we get to put out there what we want people to perceive. So I try to be really conscious on some of my posts, knowing that I have luxury clients or friends that are connected to me on Facebook. I've met a lot of them at networking events. I run charity events. I go to charity events. So you've got to find out where these buyers are, right? And get in front of them, or the sellers, but where are the luxury clients? So in your area, what's the country club that's more elite? What's the pool that maybe you can join? Hopefully we can join a pool. But what's the pool that you can join that's maybe a level up than where you're already going? What's the restaurant that you can get to know the owner of the restaurant that, the higher end people go? Who's the builder in your area that's building to the higher end client that you can, go learn more about the finishes. So it's really just putting yourself in front of business owners that have those connections. I always tell my team about networking. You're not networking to meet someone to buy or sell a house with you. You're networking for them to connect you to those people that are going to buy or sell a house with you, right? So, if there's a Mercedes dealer near you, can you go out to lunch or even do a Zoom call? But, with a salesman at the Mercedes dealer, they're connected to buyers that are going to be buying in the luxury market. Do you have a good connection with a commercial realtor? They're, leasing buildings out, and the owners of those buildings are the people that are living in luxury homes. So always just kind of think about like the chain of connections and, who can you get in front of that can connect you to the next person that would be in that luxury business.
Is that how you decided to join some of the networking of groups that you are in?
I'd like to say it was that strategic, but no, I just found some really friendly people, but now when I go to the events, I do try to find out who's attending first. And if I'm friends with the person running the event, find out who they know about some of the attendees. And a lot of times the person hosting knows things, and they'll say to me, you know, this person owns a plastic surgery office. You should get to know them. This person lives in a higher end development. Make sure you talk to them at the lunch. So you can be strategic about when you go to these events, who you're going to get in front of and who you're going to spend your time with.
So you might not have started out purposeful, but now you are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, before I just cared if anybody would buy or sell a house, right?
Right.
As long as they were buying or selling a house, I was happy. But now, yeah, I'm getting more into the luxury market. I'm more purposeful.
How are you staying connected with the luxury client or the connectors at your events that you have formed relationships with now?
Yes. Well, so my assistant just attended a class on staying connected with luxury and command, but we haven't put any of that into place. But most of it is, you know, really through social media. Am I breaking up or just you?
I think
good.
you are.
Most All right. Can you hear me?
You're good, Nicole.
Yeah, you're better.
Okay. Most of it is through social media. I mean, I'm connected, like that's, you know, where I stay in touch with most people. We have one luxury event per year. So we've really been trying to up our client events. And we found that the luxury client wants what?
You're saying your team hosts one luxury event a year?
A year, yes. So we did a rollout when we officially launched our luxury division. And again, that was very purposeful. Who was invited, you know, PR people, personal shoppers at the high-end stores, attorneys. So I formed a group that I invited them to like a cocktail party, dinner. And those people I make sure I stay extra in touch with throughout the year, because I've decided that they're going to be my referral partners, you know, in the luxury realm. So checking in with them, making sure I give them calls, doing little drop-offs occasionally. But, you know, I built that up very purposeful of who was going to be part of that alliance. But, you know, I think the luxury client, they want higher end things. So if you're going to stay in touch with them, whether it's business people that work with luxury or, you know, your clients, you've got to elevate whatever event you're doing.
So do you do anything purposeful on social media? I know you're a queen at social media and I always see you on there doing live videos, right? Is there anything else that you're doing purposeful or with a plan that you're following that you created in the beginning of the year on your GPS or something?
Yes, I'm going to tell Joe that you're doing such a great job. You've got GPS, you're, you know, like you got all the KW lingo. But so the one thing we kind of talked about briefly was about branding and, you know, having your luxury and your traditional. So what I did when I joined KW Luxury on our Instagram is I actually started another Instagram handle. One thing that I heard from a lot of agents is that when they started really branding a lot of luxury, their traditional buyers and sellers stopped calling them, right? So if you're only putting out there that you work with $1 million clients and $1 million deals and you're going to these country clubs and all of a sudden you're like very, you know, hoity-toity, you know, your client who wants to sell their $200,000 house might not call you because they might say, oh, I thought you only did luxury now. Mm-hmm. So to protect your clients, both traditional and luxury, all the agents that I talk to that are doing, you know, business at a high level separate it. So we have a luxury Instagram, and then we have our traditional, which sometimes we might post a couple of our luxury things on there, but the luxury Instagram, we're still a work in progress, but we're really trying to cater to the luxury client and posting things, you know, that would relate to them. You know, a beach house in Avalon, a country club that they might go to, a closet that might be more designer, but, you know, really speaking more to them to try to protect that business. So on my personal page, I'm just me, right? Like I'm going to do a live video. I'm going to be me. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not really thinking one way or the other about, you know, the audience as much, but on our Instagram, we are trying to be more purposeful with that and have two different brands basically going.
Okay. You talked a lot about your customer service. Can you sum up for us how that differs from the average agent?
Well, you get to work with me. No. So a lot of, I think the difference is when you're, whether it's, with me or when you're sharing your story about your service, is to really explain to your client that you run a boutique service business. So you can, kind of give them different analogies that, like, when you go to a department store and you might ask for a cup of water, they're just going to bring out a plastic cup with water in it for you. But when you would go to Louis Vuitton, you might get Perrier water. So explaining to them that you're really elevated in your business techniques and they are offering white glove service. With our luxury clients, we've added a couple things. So, our services that we'll get back to you this is just in our, everyday world. We'll get back to all of our clients within 4 hours, minimum, that we, will, obviously give them our stats and like what we're going to do for them, that we're going to be there with them every step of the way. But with the luxury, we've added some extra things, and that would be dropping off little gifts throughout the transaction. So when a luxury client signs with us, we have, it's really not that fancy, but it's just a little extra something, but a mug full of chocolates, maybe you could drop off a bottle of champagne, but dropping that off to their house before, you even start anything. We really are excited to start working with you. Some of the agents said they drop it off at their place of work because then other people can see it. But, dropping that off, we allow our agents an allowance to do something throughout the transaction. So say maybe you give your agents, if you have a team, $50 or $100 to surprise their clients throughout this transaction. Maybe something's coming up and you send them flowers. Maybe you take them out to lunch. Maybe you see something on Facebook. But it's really trying to add the service of adding 5 to 10 wows throughout the transactions, because those clients then are going to talk about you more and do more, more buzz. The other thing that's kind of service tied in, but that we do with our clients too, is we'll ask, when we list the house, and I learned this from the luxury retreat, is ask for 5 business contacts and 5 personal contacts from that seller, right? So if you're listing a luxury, a luxury client's house, maybe they're a big attorney. By asking for 5 professional contacts, you now have 5 other potential luxury clients to add to your pipeline. So then you're telling your client that you're reaching out to them to share their listing in case they would know anyone, but you're really building your sphere and having, to the seller, it looks great, but you're building, future business for yourself. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I love that. Really good tip for even if it's not a luxury listing.
Yep.
To be reaching out 5 times. I think they mentioned that in the perfect real estate assistant course or something, in one of those courses online through KW. Okay, who do you recommend as an agent would be a good candidate to join the luxury division?
I think anyone, right? Anyone that's looking to increase their price point. I don't know exactly if it was from luxury or from MAPS, but like I said, last year was the first year that I went to the luxury retreat. In 2019, we had 100% increase in our business. So we went from doing 11 million to 22 million. That was from MAPS coaching, I think, from going to luxury, it really just expanded the way that I look at things and do things. So, our average price point before that was probably more like 350, 360. And then last year, both our buy and sell average was 500,000. So if you're looking to increase your price point, whether it's taking it, from 300 to 500, I think you said luxury is 500 in your area, then I think you definitely should join. You have nothing to lose. The $100 a month, pays for itself.
Do you think it was luxury division or MAPS coaching that really pushed you to double your business?
I think the combination of both, right? Because you need to get all that information. And then like you said, you need either a 411, a GPS. You've got to then have the systems to keep it going. We all have those like smart books on our shelf that we wrote all our notes in from every event that we've gone to. But if you don't open them up and start putting them into action, they're just, your shelf's just getting smarter. So.
And Nicole does go to these events that Keller Williams hosts because we've hung out and she's a lot of fun. That's all the questions that I had for you.
I second, she's a lot of fun.
I would say no comment, Wendy.
If anyone else had any questions, I don't see any in the chat box other than Richie's link that he shared with us. Thank you. So we thank you for joining us, and we hope if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to either the office or Nicole. And if we have any referrals on the main line, we can send them her way.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I used to be up closer to you guys, so I'm happy to send them back.
And she's in our region, so if anybody ever goes to any of the regional events, say hi to Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you guys for the opportunity. I hope it was helpful. I know there was like a little, I'd get off topic, but you know, there's just a lot of really great information. So
yeah, it was. Thank you very much. I think even for people that aren't interested in the luxury, could learn a lot from the call today. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks to both of you. You're awesome.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Welcome, guys. Thanks. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.